Imagine if you could plant a tree and watch dollar bills grow on its branches. Sounds like pure fantasy, right? But today, we're diving into the real-world experiment often called the money tree, and why it's much more than a quirky science project. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, and this episode is all about uncovering what happens when we put the concept of a money tree to the test. We'll explore why this experiment fascinates so many, what it reveals about human behavior, and how it connects to two key ideas: incentive structures and behavioral economics. Think of incentive structures like the scaffolding that shapes a building. They guide how people act. And behavioral economics? It's the study of why we make irrational financial choices, sort of like choosing candy over carrots even when we know better. So, what's the real story behind the money tree experiment? Let's set the stage. You announce to a classroom or a family that you'll tape $1 to a plant every week, as long as certain conditions are met, maybe chores completed, or grades maintained. Now, you might be thinking, wouldn't everyone just do whatever it takes to keep the money blooming? But here's where conflict arises. Motivation doesn't always match expectation. The novelty wears off, or people try to game the rules. Suddenly, it's not just about the cash, it's about psychology, reward fatigue, and trust. By the end of this segment, you'll see why the money tree experiment is a microcosm of how incentives and behaviors interact. Ready to dig in and watch how the roots of motivation really grow? Let's go. Let me tell you a true story. Last year, I tried the money tree experiment with my niece. I told her, for every book you read, $1 appears on the tree. At first, she was all in devouring books and checking that plant daily, like a treasure hunter searching for gold. But after a month, something shifted. She started asking, do graphic novels count? What if I just skim? This is the classic moral hazard at play, a situation where someone has an incentive to take risks because they don't bear the full consequences. Moral hazard is like letting someone borrow your car without insurance. Suddenly, they're a bit less careful. And then, there's diminishing returns. That's the second technical term. The more she read, the less excited she was by the next dollar. Like eating your favorite dessert every day until, eventually, you crave something else. The point? Rewards can lose their motivational power if overused. So, what can we learn from this? First, the importance of setting clear, evolving criteria. Second, the necessity of mixing up rewards. Sometimes it's about the surprise, not the amount. And third, understanding that incentives only work when they align with intrinsic motivation. If you try the money tree experiment yourself, set transparent guidelines, and adjust them as you go. Next week, we'll look at digital money trees apps and online platforms that gamify saving and spending. Until then, remember, the richest growth comes not from the dollars on the branches, but from the roots of motivation you nurture. If you enjoyed this, subscribe for more curiosity-fueled experiments. What would you grow on your own money tree? Think about it.
Yes, the motivation is working. Whoa, a money tree made of apps and phones. So cool, I can almost grab the coins.